This one's going to be a good one. You know why? We got our boy, Mr. Jordan Peterson himself. Am I too loud?
Now, how would you detect your own inauthenticity or your own incongruence? Well, Rogers had this idea that he called subception, which was maybe something that you might regard as a sixth sense. It's sort of like propriocentric perception.
I love this guy. What is he talking about, mate? What? 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 Okay, I don't know all these big words. Subception is a cool word. Subception. What the hell? How do I explain this one? Because I know what he's talking about. So, we all have a sixth sense. We all know when we're being real to ourselves. We all know deep down that makes sense, that doesn't make sense. Happens in relationships where maybe you've fallen out of love with your partner and deep down that sixth sense kicks in and you do know, but you choose to ignore it. You choose to be in denial. Things like that, you know, and the opposite is also true. When someone's saying they're not in love with someone, but you are.
Rogers believed that you could use the information that's being provided to you from your body, sort of bottom up, to determine when you were being inauthentic or non-congruent. What I've concluded is this: you sort of have to detach yourself from your thoughts and what you say. So you got to assume. You start by assuming that what you say and what you think is not necessarily you. And of course, that's just the case.
Boy, this man is too deep for this video, boy. He's going in, man. He said that your thoughts aren't you. Have to address that quickly. I completely, 100% agree with that. Your thoughts aren't you. The voice in your head isn't you. It's just a voice in your head. Yeah, sure, it's part of you, but it's not you. It doesn't make up who you are.
So maybe you're saying things to impress someone, or you're saying things to remain part of your political group or your social group or whatever, or maybe you have attributes, personal attributes that might be positive that you're ashamed of, and so you're not going to speak about them. So there's a falseness about your self-representation. Watch for 2 weeks and see. Make a rule that if you start to say something and it makes you feel weak, it's hard to describe exactly what that means. To me, what it means is that I can feel things coming apart, sort of in my midsection, so I think it's an autonomic phenomena.
Autonomic phenomena. I can quickly find out within myself whether or not I'm being authentic. It's through that weakness that I know I've said something and I don't quite align with it. It's a response to maybe who I was in the past or things that have happened to me. The trauma is not me. Everyone has trauma, no? Responding to trauma, for example, and doing a thing, I've done it. I know why I did it. I've done this thing. But is it truly how I want to respond in my life? No, the answer is no. Let's see how much more big words this man gonna throw at me. Autonomic phenomena.
For making the assumption that attention is a higher order function than intellect. Because attention is what teaches intellect. So if you pay very, very careful attention to what you say without having the automatic, without bringing the automatic assumption that what you say is you to bear on the conversation, and then also to feel like you have to defend it once you say it, you'll find very rapidly that very much of what you think and say has absolutely nothing to do with you.
I interpret what he's saying in terms of the word attention, giving it attention, is a very key word in my life of how I got to a point where I can talk about this stuff, is self-awareness. The number one most important thing to start the journey of authenticity in your life is self-awareness. And it's hard to be self-aware, right? And this is what he's trying to teach. It's a very difficult concept, as you can see. He's using all these big words. We have a lot of doubts in our life. Any doubt you have in your life, you question how you feel, you ask yourself, and then you sit with it. Feel it out. Always remember that you don't align yourself to the beliefs that you already have. You find your true beliefs and your true values first, and then align to them.
And so one of the things I try to do is to point that out. It's like, look, you know, this is something, there's a real thought here. It's a real original thought. It's something that you have the right to, because it's derived from your own experience and your own knowledge. And you've formulated it in an original and compelling way. But the problem with that is that if you get criticized for that, you're just going to pull right back into your shell, right? Because that hurts, because it's actually part of you that you've exposed. And that's a terrifying thing, to expose yourself like that. But it's an absolute prerequisite to genuine communication and thought.
There's a massive discomfort in being authentic that is really important to be aware of. At the end of it, you'll thank yourself. My final thoughts on that is, that's where true success is. I'm opening the doors out, showing what I see as success. And it's knowing yourself and being authentic.